WrestleMania 41 is around the corner, and in this video, I'm going to be doing my predictions on the matches that will be on the WrestleMania 41 card. I'll give you what my two openers are and what my two main events are. So let's dive right into it. So I'm going to start the video by giving you both openers and both main events to really set the tone. Opener for night one I have is Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky versus Roxanne Perez, with Roxanne doing the unthinkable and winning the Elimination Chamber. Now, I did put a little caveat. I do think this also could be Bayley, but for now, I'm going to leave it as Roxanne. I do think that this is going to be a huge match. I mean, Rhea Ripley is always a huge name, of course, and considering that Io is getting a match after Elimination Chamber, I do think shenanigans is going to happen, and this will be a triple threat ultimately at WrestleMania. My main event for night one, I was thinking long and hard, but I do think Jey Uso gets the main event. Jey Uso versus Gunther, night one main event. And I mean, you already kind of figures who's gonna win, let's be honest, but I'm gonna leave it at that. We already know the story that they're gonna tell. Oh, night two opener, I decided to go with Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins. Ultimately, I was considering put this at night one main event, but I think it makes more sense for night two. Also, Jey Uso deserves his moment individually by himself to get the loud cheers. So this is gonna set the tone. This is gonna be a huge match, and it's gonna get us ready for night two because it's about to be a banger. Night two main event. A lot of you guys may like this. It's kind of unprecedented because technically everyone's a babyface, but I have Cody Rhodes versus CM Punk versus John Cena as the night two main event. CM Punk is going to do his favor and John Cena is going to win the Elimination Chamber. I just think that this match right here is the biggest match you can create at the moment, with John Cena and his retirement tour, with CM Punk begging for the main event and Cody Rhodes being goddamn Cody Rhodes. The other matches I have for WrestleMania, I'm just going to list all of them and tell you how we kind of get there. DIY versus Street Profits versus Motor City Machine Guns versus Pretty Deadly versus Los Garza in a ladder match for the tag team titles. I mean, it makes sense. They've been doing the five-way feud with all of them for so long. It only makes sense to end it with a huge tag ladder match, and that's going to be absolutely fire. Braun Breaker versus AJ Styles Intercontinental Championship match. They've been kind of alluding to Braun Breaker going after AJ Styles. AJ Styles is here to redeem and reestablish who he is on the main roster. This is going to be an excellent match. Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair for the women's WWE title. Charlotte Flair more than likely is going to pick Tiffany. We all been waiting for Tiffany versus Charlotte Flair. This either could be a passing of the torch or set a precedent that Tiffany Stratton is not on her level yet, where you can really build Tiffany Stratton to be that megastar that she is. Either way, we know this is more than likely going to happen. War Raiders versus New Day for the World Tag Team Championship. I was thinking who would be the best to face the War Raiders. I don't think the Creed brothers are going to beat them, but I do think it's going to be a very good feud. But we're kind of just waiting for the New Day to establish themselves as the top tag team on the Raw roster. It only makes sense. That heel turn was so good, and they're going to win that tag titles, in my opinion. But I'll save the predictions for another video. Next, we got Shinsuke Nakamura versus Jimmy Uso versus Jacob Fatu versus LA Knight. Now, initially, I just had Shinsuke versus Jimmy, but I decided to throw in Jacob Fatu and LA Knight because they're all kind of intertwined right now to an extent. And this will be a very good match for Jimmy Uso to win in particular, but honestly, any one of them can win. And it'll be a great moment if Jimmy Uso wins the US title, Jey Uso wins the World Heavyweight title, and they can kind of celebrate together. What do you like that? I don't know. That's just me. I'm a little sentimental. Next, we got Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens at WrestleMania. Randy Orton wants his get back. I was strongly considering Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn at WrestleMania. I do think it deserves a WrestleMania match, but arguably the bigger match for these two is in Toronto, Canada at Elimination Chamber. Like, yes, WrestleMania is the bigger event, but they're in Canada. It only makes sense. So that's why I have Randy Orton eventually coming back and getting his big get back, and Kevin Owens, Randy Orton for sure, a WrestleMania match. Next, we got Drew McIntyre. Unfortunately, this is the match I hate the most versus Damian Priest. I feel like Drew McIntyre deserved a bigger match for how good he has been. Hopefully he just wins this match, but it seems like the rumors are that Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre are going to be the thing. Priest and McIntyre are probably going to reestablish their feud at Elimination Chamber. Unfortunately, that this is probably going to be a match. Next, we got Penta versus Rey Mysterio. I mean, it writes itself. I get the Penta, Ludwig Kaiser, Pete Dunne little feud. We all want Penta versus Rey Mysterio. That is a WrestleMania match, bar none. The only other place it can happen at is like at a Latin country, maybe at a Mexico, maybe at Puerto Rico, but Penta versus Rey Mysterio. Make it happen. Next, we got Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus Bianca Belair and Naomi for the Tag Team Championship with a potential Jade Cargill return. Jade Cargill, we've been saying she's going to return for so long. The best place for her to return at this point is at WrestleMania to cost Bianca and Naomi the title. You put it on Liv and Raquel. I personally don't like the women's tag team titles. I don't think there's enough tag teams in the WWE for it. Put that in NXT and have them go for it. But or at the very least, intertwine NXT much more. Put it on a low-end tag team so they can drift from Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. That's what I personally think. But Bianca and Naomi are losing the tag titles. And I do think it's because of Jade. Last two matches, we got Chelsea Green versus Michin. I know a lot of people are like groaning at that. Versus Zelina Vega for the United States Women's title. I think Zelina Vega wins this one too. I also think that the Chelsea Green and Michin thing has been going on too long, but now with the added factor of Zelina Vega, it's going to make things interesting. It's really going to put us in our mind, even though we love Chelsea Green, that Zelina Vega is finally going to get her opportunity. Michin did not end with, conclusively. There was shenanigans. So make this a WrestleMania match. Have Zelina Vega win it all. And the last match I have for you guys for my WrestleMania 41 card, Lyra Valkyria versus Becky Lynch for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. I could see a Lyra versus Ivy Nile eventually, but I don't think that's a WrestleMania match. Becky Lynch and beating Becky Lynch will be huge for Lyra. But I will throw in an added caveat, a little asterisk. If Roxanne Perez is not in the world title match, Roxanne Perez will be in this Intercontinental Championship match against Lyra Valkyria. Not only do you reignite the feud between Roxanne Perez and Lyra Valkyria, where Roxanne beat Lyra Valkyria in midst of her turning heel and starting her legendary NXT Women's Championship run, but you already set the standard right away that Roxanne Perez is a player immediately. Either Becky Lynch or Roxanne Perez could be in this spot versus Lyra Valkyria, and it will deserve a WrestleMania match. So those are all my matches for my WrestleMania 41 card. I personally think it's a banger card in my personal opinion. The only match I really just do not like for any reason is Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest. I just don't think that deserves a WrestleMania match, mainly because I think Drew McIntyre should be doing more important things. With that said, let me know your thoughts about my WrestleMania predictions. You have a good one. Take care. Peace.